There we go. Yo, what's up, YouTube? It's your boy DHV, and it's been a minute, huh? Leaves. True. It's been a minute since I've uploaded. I know, and I'll have a video going over some updates and stuff coming soon. And also thank you guys so much for we hit 100 subs the other day, and I was like, oh well, I haven't uploaded in like a month, so here we are. Basically, just a quick short, Chronicon 1.1 is out. It is bonkers, and I've found what I think is the best build in the game, potentially, maybe. I've only played like this and one more thing. TLDR, if you didn't read the patch notes, Balgars is a dead item. Not really, it's situational. You're not going to use it on every build. And there's a new item called Cosmic Cape. Also, Mightcap is the winner of the patch, and it's actually insane. So I'm just gonna go over this build real quick and kind of talk about it. I just want to say also, we're sitting at 634 mastery with under 6.5 hours, and we're cruising through M15 like it's nothing. So I think the build's kind of good. We're really tanky. There's a good number of changes. This is like the super hardcore version of this build. You could swap a few things around to get a ton more damage, but I don't think you really need it. So the core of this build is Mightcap. Basically what Mightcap used to do was it just gave you 2 ultimate skills. Now it buffs your ultimate by 50%. So with the Infernal Lord set, we're able to abuse this by having the free Infernal Demon ultimate. And we're allowed to have 2 other ultimates, which we're using Lich Power and Death Knight, because they are the best defensive options that we have easy access to. I think the poison one might be okay because it's a ton of evasion, but it doesn't even matter. Like, look at our stats right now. Crit says it's not capped. It is. Don't worry about it. When we have buffs up, it's fine. We're sitting on 75% DR. We're sitting on 42% evasion. All res is capped in maps. 75% stagger. Like, we don't die. I don't I don't want to, be like, oh, there's no way we can die, because then I'll go into the next map and die, but it is what it is. Master set's pretty standard. Foul Demon, pretty standard for this kind of build. We're using King's Rock, not Jeopardy. Jeopardy is an option, but I went with King's Rock because it works better with everything else that we have going on. John's Book of Souls, very important, because it lets you get the extra souls. And then, very standard, staggering, advancing army, kind of core on most minion builds. So the big thing here is Mightcap, as I said, and Cosmic Cape. Cosmic Cape is a brand new item that came out with this patch, and what it does is it takes 70% of your mana and removes it and turns it into damage equal to twice its value. So, like, you'll see when I have this off, I have this much mana. You can see it here, 2,300 or 23,000. I put it on, I'm down to 8,000. But now all of that is getting added to my total damage. Now, flat damage does not get added to minions, but with the Infernal Lord, every time you do Help Hit, that damage is going to get added to your minions. It's something like almost 4 bill right now. You might be noticing something on the screen, by the way. Previously, with the Infernal Lord build, you would have a cap of 4 Infernal Demons. But we have 6 because of Mightcap. So, what this means is we're getting 2 more instances of our damage, which means we know, and on top of that, their stats are being buffed by Mightcap. So, we no longer need Demonologist robes to do really big damage numbers. Like, if I just come over here, I'm not going to be at 15 souls for this. But you'll see, we're sitting at under 1 billion without souls. With 15 souls, it's actually insane, and it just keeps going up. It's sitting around 4 billion, like I said, so just trust me on that. This build is disgusting. It's super tanky. It does crazy damage at M15. I have not touched Endless on it. I wanted to do a video before we got to that because basically one of the reasons I got burnt out on uploading was just because every time I would be about to do a video, I would die. So I wanted to get this out before then. I'll do like a more in-depth guide on it. And I'll put a Chronicalc link in the description for you guys, so you can kind of see what we're doing with the passive tree, because it's a little weird. You'll see we have no points in Corruptor because we just can't afford it. We actually don't even have Demonic Appetite maxed out because we just can't afford it. You could potentially drop points in Shadow and pick up Infernal or Demon Spawn, which is a really good offensive option because it's attack speed and move speed, and then with Advancing Army, you know, move speed becomes damage. But it's not necessary. It's a lot of damage, but I wouldn't recommend it for hardcore. If you're on softcore, maybe feel free to try it out. I had tried that on the second version, or the first iteration of this build after the patch, and it seemed really good, but it just wasn't tanky enough. So Death Knight, as you can see with the buff from Mightcap, we're getting almost 40%, or we're getting 30 DR and 30 stagger, and then with Lich Power, we're getting 30 evasion. We're getting a ton of health on hit. We're getting 30 DR as well. Utility and ritual skills cooldown is kind of whatever, but if you wanted to use some actives, you could. You could use the active for summoning. You shouldn't, but you could. The only ritual that you would really use the active on is Ritual of Shadows. It's a lot of extra health and mana, but don't worry about it. It's not a super big deal. You're not losing that much by not doing it. And it's just a little harder to keep your souls capped out if you're gonna do it that way. So yeah, let's try to do a little showcase. Hopefully recording doesn't like kill my game and thusly me. It takes a little bit to get the build rolling, especially if you're trying to play safe. I guess I should talk about my codexes. Yeah, once you're at 15 souls, you're super safe. I should talk about codexes. We're using Soul Warp Codex, very standard. I would like to switch to scrolls at some point, but I'm not gonna invest in that right now just because I'm only at 4 billion or 4 trill. Yeah, 4 trillion, and I don't really want to, or 4 bill. I don't know what we're on that. Either way, 4 something, and it's like 3 bill to get to it, so I'm not gonna risk it. As you can see, it's just the build just pilots itself basically. We just sit back, make sure we keep health hit up, and we pop our Healing Touch, which is our other codex. It just gives us crazy regen between that and Masochism. And we're like, as you can see, we definitely have Kill Haste. Kill Haste is giving us a ton of movement speed and thusly a ton of damage, so we don't even really need to Soul Warp that often. I very rarely actually use Soul Warp. I use it every now and again, just to get, you know, gap close or get out of a situation, but more often than not, Healing Touch is just better to keep up all the time, since they share a cooldown. And we're fast enough as it is, where it's not that super big of a deal. And like, you can see, we can just walk through here. Even without Balgars, like, Stagger itself got buffed, so we naturally have 30% damage reduction from Stagger, or 30% reduced Stagger damage taken. So the bleed effect on Stagger is going to be reduced by 30, but you're still able to, you know, hold as much, if not more. You're just not getting the damage from it, unless the damage bonus, unless you use Balgars. That said, the damage bonus from Balgars is now actually scales, so it's kind of still good. It's just a lot more situational of an item. If you're not a build that's going to be going out of their way to build up their stagger meter, don't use it. But it's still going to be a lot of crazy damage if you are going to use like a more melee build. A less evasion focused build. Like right now we have like a ton of layered defenses, and the way that this build is kind of playing out, like if my stagger bar gets full where I would actually have any benefit from Balgars, I'm probably going to be logging out. I just don't want to risk it, you know, because once your stagger bar is full with Balgars, yeah, you're going to be doing a ton of damage, but you're also not going to be able to stagger anymore, so the next hit that you take could one-shot you. And, you know, obviously, that's not good on hardcore. It's not good in any situation, much less hardcore. But yeah, like I said, this build just powers through M15, and you can just see, like, why we've gotten so high mastery so quickly. Like, one-shot bosses, it's not even an issue. There's no ramp in this build. This build hits ramp numbers on its own without the extra help. This is kind of what the masteries look like. I'm not gonna go super in depth here because there's not anything crazy important. Just make sure you have 94 in Demonologist. Everything else is kind of situational depending on you and your preference. You will see though, one thing that I should note is we're actually stacking mana instead of damage because the way Cosmic Cape works, it more or less works out that every point in here is going to be about 1.4 points in damage. Just give or take, you know? I don't have the exact math on it, but, you know, more or less that's the idea. You don't need to have this point taken, by the way. There's nothing here that we want. You could go for the companion damage reduction, but it's not that big of a deal. If you really want something here, you could put the crystals, but you only need 65 points in each tree and these two connected to get to the Grand Summoner perk. So keep that in mind. I know a lot of people actually aren't aware of that. And then going through here, we're only maxing this out really to get to this Ritual Affinity, and you want to make sure you take Companion Affinity as well as Fire Affinity. There's not anything here that's worth it for us, so we don't even bother. We have the bare minimum of points in here to get to here. I might even be able to take some things out, but we do want Death Bargain or Dark Bargain since we are stacking mana anyway. It's a nice little touch, as well as Dark Lust. I want to put it out there, by the way, this is unrelated to this build, but mana, like I said earlier with how strong mana stacking is going to be, Vestige of Lost Souls, I think I have one in here somewhere. Where is it? I know what it looks like, I just can't see it. Is it this one? Yeah. Vestige of Lost Souls, I think is going to have a lot of potential to be a really, really strong defensive option. Especially on this patch combined with Cosmic Cape. I think the two of these together have a really good synergy. Granted, you're going to be losing mana due to the way Cosmic Cape works, but you're still going to be stacking a ton of mana. So this is just going to be something to think about. It's not something that would work for this build necessarily, but it's still an option for other builds that you could look into. Especially builds that don't care about Elementium and that get their resists elsewhere, like a lot of Berserker builds do. Just keep it in mind. And really any mana stacking thing is going to be really powerful. Yeah. Wayrix. Wayrix is another item that's going to be very good. I actually, if it weren't for the fact that we needed Infernal Crowns for the extra demons, I might even opt for that. But I think Mightcap is way too valuable to pass up for any build in the game that can get away with using it. It's not going to be the best item in the game for every build, but I think any build that can abuse it, like obviously Infernal Demons, potentially Storm Warden or Pet Warden as well. Really solid item. Keeping it in your consideration. Do not sleep on Mightcap. Anyway, I think that's all I'm going to get to today. Like I said, I'll have a more in-depth thing coming out soon, and we're going to do a little channel update coming soon. Thank you guys so much for watching. Come by the stream, by the way. We're live right now, and we're live just about every night between 5 p.m. and 6 p.m. Eastern. Twitch.tv/DHVeez. I hope to see you there. Thank you guys, and have a wonderful night. Love you, and bye-bye.